I've been shooting a fair amount, so I'm gonna step out here. We're 20 yards away from the target, but I don't just shoot at the target. I'm gonna pick out the kill spot, and that target is slightly quartering away from me, so I wanna be a little bit further back. I try to make myself, even in practice, think about what angle is the arrow going through the vitals, and where do I need to aim to make sure I have the maximum effectiveness of that shot. In this case, the deer or the target's quartering slightly away, so I want to pull back towards the rear end just a few inches, and an easy way to do this is just think or imagine a line that goes through on the front side and comes out right behind the back of the off shoulder. So when I look at this target and I think about the back of the off shoulder, I'm probably over to the right of the target, 3 or 4 inches from where I would aim if it was exactly perpendicular to where I'm standing. Taking your practice to that level, make sure when that big buck comes in, not exactly where you wanted it, that you're already trained just automatically to think about where the pin placement should be. Once I've got my bow tuned and I'm shooting pretty well, my form is just like a machine, man. I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't even think about it. I'm just focused on the critter. I come out here to practice, well, I still start out at close range, even though I've been practicing at longer distances. I have found, and several of the big pro shooters have shared with me, that the #1 thing to being a good bow shot is confidence. If you're doubting the situation, your setup, or the shot distance, or anything else, there's that doubt in the back of your mind, and that triggers a cascading downfall of other things that impact the shot accuracy. So even though I shoot a lot, I tend to start out at 20 yards or even in our shop at about 10 yards. Sometimes I'll put a paper up and shoot through the paper 5 or 10 times first thing in my practice session, because the paper will tell me if my form is great and that rip is exactly the same every time. When it gets on in summer, my bow's tuned, I'm shooting good, my form is good, it's pretty tempting just to get out here and start at 30, 40, 50 yards. And every now and then, I will do that with the first arrow. Just go out there at 37.5 yards, take a shot to replicate that hunting situation. But usually after I do that, I'll come back up to 20 yards or actually go in the shop and shoot through paper. One thing about taking the first shots through paper or paper tuning is that will tattle on you if your form isn't right. The tear, no matter which way it's going, if it's going all over, you know that your form is varying and the bow is probably just fine. I want to remind you to make every shot count. Don't just come out here and wing a bunch of arrows, and consider that a good practice session. By shooting one arrow at a time, making sure each shot counts, you'll be well prepared when the opportunity comes to put some fresh venison in the freezer.